Randy Savage, Sarasota, Florida. Come on in. You're going to be defending against the Dragon, Ricky Steamboat. What's the cup for?
WrestleMania 3, Pontiac, Michigan. Yeah, 90,000 plus people watching right there. And this is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's cup of coffee in the big time. Yeah, cup of coffee in the big time, because he'll never get closer than now. I am the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, and I will remain the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And George the Animal Steel on the outside will be no factor. Yeah.
You say no factor. Obviously, he is a factor, or you wouldn't even brought it up.
Oh, wow. Mr. Sarcasm. Yeah, I don't care if you got 23 wrestlers around the outside, and it doesn't even matter. No, because I am ready, and I will not let this opportunity slip through my fingers. Cup of coffee, man. Yeah.
A very fun dream. He's just a common man, working hard with his hands.
All right. Welcome to the Big Kid Show. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to another fantastic, fabulous episode of the Big Kid Show. I'm your host, Big Nic, and with me today in the Big Kid Treehouse, I got Mr. B, I got Sweetwater Mark, and we are going to throw down. But guess what? It's not the three of us that have to throw down. No. The three of us, we are all on the same side, the Big Kid side. That's right,
Yeah.
The light side of things. We are back at it for episode number 2 of our WWF Wrestling Greats from the 80s Showdown Throwdown Tournament, single elimination style. We went through the first round in episode number 1, and today, well, if these wrestlers can make the pinfall and win the match in time, we will get through several rounds today and hopefully crown the champion of the greatest wrestler of WWF from the 1980s decade, which was, look, I lived through it. It was one heck of a decade, I tell you, friends.
and you barely made it.
Barely survived.
Barely got out alive. Yeah. Now, let's get straight into the action, picking up where we left off. Round 2. For those of you scoring at home, we are on the left side of our bracket, where we have the number 1 seed. That is, for all of you Hulkamaniacs out there, it is your hero, Hulk Hogan, squaring off against the number 8 seed, who is the one and only Sergeant Slaughter. Now, we talked about Hulk Hogan having one of the longest reigns. He has the longest reign as champion during the WrestleMania era, which has been going on for a long time, since the early 80s, my friends. But we also have Sergeant Slaughter, who has an accolade that no other competitor has in this tournament, which is one of the highest achievements that any human being can ever accomplish in their lifetime. He is a G.I. Joe character. That is real, baby. Look it up. If you're too young to know it, look it up. And guess what? Sweetwater Mark, he grew up in one of those fancy households. He had the Sergeant Slaughter G.I. Joe figure. I actually had the Sergeant Slaughter G.I. Joe figure too.
You both had it? Oh my gosh. Man, what were we doing?
Well, let me tell you, B, for pro tip, right? If you hop in the DeLorean and go back in time and get a chance to relive the 80s, here's something I would recommend to everybody out there. G.I. Joe did this business where if you cut out the UPC symbols from the back of the packages, you can mail them in to get a special character shipped to your house. Yeah. I think they had a William Perry. They had a Mr. T. They had a Sergeant Slaughter.
Indeed.
Yeah. We weren't smart enough to do that.
Get your scissors out.
We didn't have any scissors at our house.
For good reason. Reason. That is why you still have eyes, my friend. You still have both of your eyes because of that decision of your parents. All right. Sweetwater Mark, we go to you, as I have been informed that we are less than 2 weeks into the new year, and you've already made a very expensive guitar purchase. So to reward you,
I don't know what you're talking about.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, he's afraid his family's listening. He doesn't want his family to know he purchased another guitar.
I decline all knowledge.
Yeah,
it was used.
Actually, I should point out that that is hearsay. It's also known as fake news. We don't know if that even happened, if that's a real thing.
Thomas Vector likes to throw all kinds of stuff up into the atmosphere.
He's
just
Dude, he's been throwing a lot of
shade.
shade your way. A lot of shade your way.
All right.
Sweetwater Mark, Sergeant Slaughter, Hulk Hogan squaring it off. Two big mamma jammas going at it. These two went at it. Just a reminder here. Yes, they did. They threw down.
I was actually about to bring that up, Big Nick. I'll let you do the honors.
For America. A battle for America. We had Hulk Hogan. Of course, he's going to represent all the Hulkamaniacs, and all Hulkamaniacs are real Americans. We know that. It's about saying your prayers, taking your vitamins, and something else that I forget. But he wanted you to do most of that. And then Sergeant Slaughter.
That Americans do
some things and some stuff.
Because America.
And be American. And Sergeant Slaughter, even though he was a G.I. Joe, who were supposed to be real American heroes, right, according to the slogan, turned his back on America. And he went to fight for the bad boys. And he challenged Hulk. And he spit on the American flag. Remember, he called us pukes. He called me a puke.
Can't do that. Can't do that, Sergeant Slaughter. Can't do that. So, yes, Hulk Hogan did defeat Sergeant Slaughter at WrestleMania 7. And that was a big one, boys. That was 91. I remember that one distinctly. And that's kind of when they took the storyline of Sergeant Slaughter being portrayed as the Iraqi sympathizer during the involvement with the Gulf War. That's like where they really started to like toe the line kind of real life events that, again, you watch the Mr. McMahon documentary, they're like, that might not have been the wisest decision to mimic real life, events that are going on. But either way, you've got Sergeant Slaughter, you've got the Hulk. Sergeant Slaughter is very tempting, man. He was a tough character and a guy that I wouldn't want to catch in a dark alleyway. That's for sure.
Hey, Mark, but I'd have your back.
But I got to go the steadfast American. We're going Hulkamania, brother. Hulkamania. Yeah, I think for me, the Hulk, he beat him once. He can do it again, right? So I got to go the Hulk. That's the way I'm rolling, boys.
Well, and for those of you that like fun facts out there, I'll tell you this. Our boy Iron Sheik, who lost to Hogan in the first round, and if anybody out there followed the Sheik on Twitter, you will know that up until his dying day, R.I.P. Sheik, he did not like, according to his Twitter account, the Hulk Hogan. He said a lot of bad things about Hulk Hogan for a very long time, but he returned to the WWF in the corner of Sergeant Slaughter under the character name of Colonel Mustafa.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's a deep dive.
I didn't like it.
No, nobody liked it. All right, B, what say you? Hogan versus Slaughter.
It's Hulk Hogan all day long, baby. Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania. Oh, he's just gonna, and you know what's gonna happen
when it runs wild on you.
Yeah, and he might get behind in the fight. He's down a little bit, and but the crowd starts going, and what's he doing? Oh, he starts getting that Hulkamania in him, and
starts shaking.
Oh yeah, and then you have to watch out. And he's ripping shirts off, and people are just getting pregnant instantly because it's Hulk Hogan, baby.
That's right.
Hulk Hogan for the win over Sergeant Slaughter. Lock it in.
A lot of Hulk babies out there running around these days because of that moment. And you can almost picture it, right? Slaughter does something dirty to try to take the lead and try to defeat Hulk Hogan. Does a little bit of cheating, maybe pulls in a foreign object.
Little trickery. Maybe throws his whistle at him.
But then he does the mistake that so many before him have done, where after he hits Hogan over the head with the foreign object that most certainly should have knocked out a normal man, he decides, instead of pinning him right then and there, that, you know what, I'm going to put him in some kind of submission hold. And he's got it on. He slaps it on nice and tight. He's squeezing the life out of Hogan. And the referee comes over, picks up Hogan's right hand. It falls to the mat. He picks up his right hand one more time, falls to the mat. If he picks up the hand and it falls to the mat for the third time, Your hero, America, is dead and gone. Picks up the hand.
So
It drops. The elbow almost hits the mat, but then the fist rises up
Fist
into
of
the
fury.
air. And Hogan's hand starts to shake and he hulks up. He starts to hulk up and he's becoming more powerful and Slaughter can't stop him. And now Hogan's back on his feet. He hits him with a quick few moves, body slams him, drops a big leg. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Hogan has defeated Sergeant Slaughter and saved
And the crowd
America
goes,
all
wow.
at the same time and impregnated everyone in the crowd.
including Big Nic.
That's right. I had twins.
even Nick got pregnant. That's right.
It's a different society we live in now.
That's right. All right. Hulk advances. The number 1 seed continues on. I do want to point something out here to all of the beautiful listeners. Again, those of you scoring at home, you already know this, but throughout the entirety of our first round, we did not have a single upset based off of the seeding. So whoever was in charge of the seeding did a fantastic job. I just wanted to point that out.
Kudos to them.
Actually, cheers to the research team for doing it. And actually, if you guys hear them in the background, they're fired up. I think they might be wrestling themselves.
I think
That's
they are.
right.
Yeah.
So if you hear anything, just ignore it. It's fine.
It's
normal.
It's a lot of draft beer and barrel peanuts. They're eating barrel peanuts. It's just throwing the shells on the floor like a bunch of animals.
Ruckus.
Ruckus. It's a real.
Ruckus among
I
us.
heard a ruckus.
Yeah.
It's a real fracas in that other room.
Yeah.
A real fracas. All right, here we go. All right, now let's go to the right side of our bracket, boys, where we have another incredible matchup. We have the 7 seed, who is a Jake the Snake Roberts, down at ringside with the bag in hand. And inside the bag, he's got the Python Damien ready to come out and assist old Jake the Snake if needed. And he's squaring off against a man that really needs no introduction. But because you're not watching this on TV and it is an audio show, I am forced to do an introduction here. We have a one Andre Rene Rasimov, who is better known as his ring name as Andre the Giant, who was a French professional wrestler, also dubbed the 8th wonder of the world and also a crowd pleaser. He was one of those guys that whether he was a babyface or a heel, it was difficult not to like Andre the Giant because he was one of a kind, baby. And also, like B pointed out in episode 1, quite the actor. Should have won the Oscar probably 2 times, at least 2 times. Snubbed.
Super snub.
Snubbed at the Oscars, mainly because they didn't have a chair to provide for it.
No, they would have had to made 3 chairs and yeah.
Yeah, he walks into a restaurant and it's like, yes, sir, do you have a reservation? And he says, yes, giant party of 1.
I'm going to need
I'll take
all of
2
your tables.
Yeah, I'll need all of your tables. Bring me all of the beers. I don't think you heard me correctly, son. Bring me all of the beers.
Of the beers.
All right, 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, squaring off against Jake Roberts, also known as the Snake. B, how does this one play out, baby?
Here's how I picture it. Jake the Snake, he gets a little crafty. He starts trying to do stuff because he's probably a little more agile than our man, Andre the Giant, but size and power always wins. Andre the Giant just destroys him. And the reality is, as much as we love Jake the Snake and his boa constrictor, that boa constrictor is not going to do shit to Andre the Giant. What's that going to, is it going to wrap around his pinky toe? And all right, maybe Andre the Giant loses a pinky toe. Let's call it that. But Andre the Giant, easy win.
All right, we have a vote for the
Easy
Giant.
win. I'm calling it an easy win.
Thank you.
So Jake the Snake, not to be confused with one Rick Rude.
Who also
Thank
impregnated most of the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
And apparently was hitting on Mark's mom the whole time.
That's right.
Exactly.
Offered to buy her.
Run.
If I recall correctly, he offered to buy your mom a vehicle. He offered to buy her a car.
Yeah.
Let's just be clear.
A used Monte Carlo.
Just be clear, no woman is safe from one Rick Rude.
How about a nice 1989 Chrysler LeBaron?
That sounds like the right type of
that's a
vehicle.
nice car, buddy.
It is. Some of them have a
Like a couch on
convertible top.
wheels.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, moms across America, you better run
Watch
for your
out.
life. Watch out
Yeah.
for one Rick Rude and his classy taste in cars. Anyway, back to the matter. at hand.
Focus.
Focus. That's right. Focus Johnson. So it's I was always a big Jake the Snake fan, but I'm with Mr. B. I don't see how he pulls it off. That snake gets stepped on the first 5
Yeah.
seconds by Andre the Giant. The snake's like, what the fuck did I do? I don't think he stands a chance. I think
What?
he probably gets some good hits in. Like you say, he's a little more mobile. You know, he can kind of get around a little bit better.
Well, because everyone's more mobile than Andre the Giant.
Exactly. But that
That's
size and that strength is it's just too much. You know,
Mark, I got a question. Big Nick might know this. How many people have lifted Andre the Giant off the mat?
This is strange because I would never have guessed this, but the first person to do it on American television was actually Axe from Demolition when he wrestled under a different name, like Andre the Giant. And they never made a big deal about it because what happened was later Hogan body slammed the Giant, and they always advertised that as Hogan was the first and only man to.
So it's at
slam
least
the
been
Giant.
done twice that we know about.
Yeah, and actually, I think I've witnessed several. It's been done more than they advertised.
I'm just picturing lifting a 450-pound man up.
yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I think in that Mr. McMahon documentary, they had mentioned that they kind of slid under the rug the fact that he had been body slammed a few times in his younger years when he was similar size, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that not a lot of people can pick that dude up. And
I mean,
Body slam.
I've tried to body slam Marcus multiple times, and
I'm about the same size as John.
Unsuccessful every time.
Much
It's
more
weird.
svelte.
Yeah, I'll show up at his house. Big, you ready? I'm body slamming you, and
It's go time.
I'm 0 for 10.
I do want to
Yeah,
add
like
something
Raiders.
to the character of Andre the Giant. And this was something that I think was very cool, is that the Giant had such natural strength and such massive size that you could only do to him what he would allow to be done. And there were, and what I mean by that is we know, look, we're having fun here. We're having a great time, and we're being very nostalgic with all these wrestling characters that we enjoyed, and some of them we didn't enjoy as little kids. But as big kids, we reflect on it, and we know that it's entertainment, sports entertainment, and not actual wrestling that they're doing. But they're doing a lot of the maneuvers and things that they are doing you have to be a superior athlete to do a lot of what these guys are doing in the ring, and the women these days. And the thing is, like, you could go to the Giant and say, all right, here's what we want to happen in the match. And sometimes Andre would be like, nope, not, no. Yeah. Like, oh, you want so-and-so to slam me? He goes, nope. You're not, no, Big John Snudd is not going to slam me. And like, there's nothing you can do when he just says no. Like, you can't just go, well, yeah, we're going to make it happen. He was so big, strong, and powerful that he could just, in the middle of the ring, just go look at the guy and go, nope, you're not doing anything that I say you can't do.
I think if the three of us tried to fight Andre the Giant, we would lose.
Yeah.
Yes, that is accurate.
Yes.
Even on the three, if we had our best days.
Well, and Big Nick Squirrely, everyone just, he's squirrely. You watch out for him. He'll rabbit punch you right in the kidney.
That's right. I fight dirty.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. I'll tell you what, I think, I know you don't need the Big Nick vote here, but I think it's a situation where it's like you guys said, Snake Roberts probably starts off strong. He likes to throw those jab punches to the face, and he had such a long reach, Snake Roberts. And so he could land those jab punches real good, real smooth and easy, and start to take an early lead in a match. I feel like this is a situation where the Giant eventually wears him down and just chokes him out. Remember how sometimes he would just choke a dude out with his giant hands?
I'm just going to grab you and choke you.
Yeah. I think he chokes him out, and it's a situation where we have a in the ring count out or maybe submission by Jake Roberts and the giant.
Or
moves on.
maybe he just throws him out of the ring.
Yeah,
Could be.
He's like,
Picks him up
dude,
and
you're getting.
Could be.
I'm trying to drink some beer right now. I'm throwing you out of here. Take a walk.
got a date with a keg. All right, back to the left side, boys. Ooh, baby, this one. I'm telling you, these matches
Saucy.
are only going to get bigger and better
Saucy.
as we continue to go. This is a one Dick Blood. I'm sorry. That was an early stage name for. We have a number 5 seed Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who was a crowd pleaser, facing off against the number 4 seed Randy the Macho Man Savage.
That's
And
a good battle.
for those of you that love wrestling and love the WWE, ooh, look at that. He's got the wrestling buddy, the Macho King wrestling buddy. Mr. B is holding him up. Oh, that's got to be worth at least $3,000, I would bet.
I was going to say $7,000.
We should get
Mr.
one of
B
those.
drooled on it in his sleep.
Yeah. I was going to say we should get
drooled on it more. Big Nick last time he was at my house, he drooled all over it.
I dry humped that thing.
Yeah,
He dry humped the $3,000 right out of it.
Yeah, it needs dry cleaned badly.
Yeah, we should get one of those luminol blacklight looking things and see what kind of.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh no!
Oh, I
Please
can't breathe.
don't.
Stop talking.
So B, you've had that thing since you were what, about like 9, probably.
That's
Like,
an original, baby.
I know,
from-
that's what I mean. Like,
maybe I was 8 even or 7.
dude, the first time I came over to your house, I spotted that thing. I was like, "You have a Macho King wrestling buddy?"
I put it out on purpose for you.
You put it out when guests come over, right? Hey, we're having guests over. Get out the Macho King
I
wrestling.
put it out when Big Nick comes out. That's a classy move,
dude.
That is classy.
And then we became best friends.
Yep,
Just like
There it
that.
is.
Just like that. All right. Well, for the people that go back in time, they will know that these two squared off in what a lot of people argue is the best match of WrestleMania history. So this was at WrestleMania 3 when history was made. This was a battle for the Intercontinental Championship. Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. This was from March 29th, 1987 in Pontiac, Michigan. And boys, I'll tell you what, I remember it like it was yesterday. Remember it like it was yesterday. Sweetwater Mark, what say you? We got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Randy the Macho Man Savage.
Oh man,
This is such a tough one. I mean, both of these guys are the ultimate competitors, and why do you start with me on this one, Big Nick? Come on, man.
Because I love you, buddy. I love you.
Ricky Steamboat was an absolute unit. Like, that dude definitely was like, he was built. He's athletic. He could get around the ring. He could move around you. He could put you in some holds. I think Macho Man just has a tenacity. There's something about the Macho Man Randy Savage, brother. And he's snapping into Slim Jims, and I think there's just something there that's just too magical to ignore. I got to go Macho Man Randy Savage. So this would be a 50-50 match probably every time it went up, and I could change my mind each time, but for purposes of us, I'll go Macho Man.
Yeah, and we talked about this in the first round. If you paired up a couple of these guys and made them compete a few, night after night in a 10-match series, who would take it if they played 10 times? Of course, tonight they're only going to fight once. Who wins it here tonight? I do think Steamboat wins a few times if they'd squared off 10 times. B, what do you say here, buddy?
So I remember that battle, and I correct me if I'm wrong, Big Nick. I know you got the memory. I believe there was some sketchy referee work in their battle, but I'm going to go with.
No, that's never happened in wrestling. There's
no
the referee is always top notch.
They're always above board. But you know what? I'm going with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Ooh, I like it.
I think he's crafty. He's agile. I think Macho Man comes in with too much charisma and too much, over the boatness. And Ricky the Dragon comes in. He's like, nope, and sneaks a pin. Boom, Ricky the Dragon for the win. Oh yeah, baby.
Boom, shakalaka.
Yeah. Well,
Put that in
on
your
that,
pipe and smoke it.
oh yeah, I'm gonna go with the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
We all knew you were gonna pick him.
Hey,
We all
come
knew
on.
that. Come on.
Hey, I'm very fair. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Very fair. And here's what I say here. Look, I think that Steamboat, if they've squared off 10 times, I think Steamboat comes away with about 4 wins in that.
All right.
match.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that
Pretty
the
fair.
one-on-one, Ricky is ready, especially when they're fresh.
The thing is,
All right.
Macho
Ricky,
Man,
you went down. You went down.
Macho
Went
Man
down
had,
fighting.
Macho Man had that ability to really drag out a match. Remember, when he would square off against a formidable opponent, those matches would drag out. And the longer that they went, they would start to lean Macho's way. I mean, we're talking this dude would do like a 30, 35-minute match against somebody, which is, look, you guys are rock and rollers and heavy metal guys. That's a set, baby. That's a set once you have to start putting that longevity.
Well, because he was all full on Slim Jims. That's why he was all full of artificial meats.
Let's give a little credit where it's due, boys. The lovely Elizabeth was at his side as well. That always gives you a little bit of a boost.
she would get
That gives
involved.
Nick a boost every morning.
She would get involved when needed. And
He's
look,
boosting right now.
Mr. B, I think you're tapping into something with those Slim
Cable
Jims because
keeps getting higher over there.
There's
I think
something about Miss Elizabeth and Slim Jims. It creates some kind of universal weird circle of amazingness.
I think it's the preservatives that carried him late into the match.
Yeah.
He loaded up on preservatives.
A lot of sodium and
Never quit,
I don't even know if you could call it meat.
No.
so to speak.
His urine was the color of a Slim Jim.
That's not good. You need to see a
Not
doctor.
healthy.
No
Several
bueno.
doctors. You might want to have several doctors. All right. Okay. So we have on the left side, we have Hogan advancing to the semifinals. We have Macho Man advancing to the semifinals as well. On the right side of our bracket, we have Andre the Giant sitting there after having defeated Jake Roberts, awaiting the winner of this matchup. We have Hacksaw Jim Duggan out of the 6th seed. Coming down to the ringside with the 2x4 in hand, squaring off against the one and only number 3 seed Ultimate Warrior. Hey, you know what?
What do you do?
Just a moment here. Just let that set in. Just let that simmer a little bit, everybody. Think about that. Jim Duggan, Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus the Ultimate Warrior. What do you do? Mr. B, you're up first. Tell us what happens, buddy.
So obviously I showed you guys the Macho Man wrestling buddy. I actually had an Ultimate Warrior wrestling buddy.
I had that one too.
And my brother, this guy that he trains with, his son was a huge fan of Ultimate Warrior. So we bequeathed it to him so his son could have that. And I thought that was a cool thing.
Oh,
So,
that's pretty cool.
yeah.
See, mine got dry humped by Big Nic. So
yeah. Oh yeah. And then
That's not true. That's not true.
It's
He
unusable.
asked me. No, Mark's Ultimate Warrior wrestling buddy asked me if I wanted to dry hump it. I turned him down.
Okay. Hey, way to show some restraint. So, a huge fan of both of these wrestlers, but you know what? I'm going underdog again, baby. I'm going, Hacksaw Jim Duggan with the win. I think he comes in fired up. He's got the 2x4. Ultimate Warrior's jacked up on methamphetamine and running around like crazy. He probably has a heart attack mid-match. Hacksaw Jim Duggan wins, and then you know what? He just chills out, has a Bud Ice.
Ooh. The Bud Ice.
Or actually,
Sounds about right.
what would have been the beer bag? Bud Dry or something?
Bud Dry. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I'm going Hacksaw Jim Duggan for the win. Yeah, buddy.
I like it.
Mark, what say you? Jim Duggan versus
Oh, hang on. Sorry. Had to do it one more time.
So I would say this one. So you look at Jim Duggan and like, you're not that physically impressed
First off,
immediately.
watch your mouth.
In the sense of, you're not like,
like
wow,
a-
that dude's a physical specimen. It's kind of like, what's the one guy off of The Hangover? Galifianakis.
Yeah, but no,
Galifianakis.
but
Hang on,
Mark,
you're comparing Zach Galifianakis to
Yeah.
Hacksaw
No,
Jim
I'm just visually, just like what you see.
Jim
you know-
Duggan was drafted to play NFL football. He
Yes.
looked like he was built like an NFL football player. Now the belly,
not saying
maybe
the guy
the
isn't-
beer started to get to the belly
First
region
off-
a little bit.
Yeah, Mark, you just went down a couple pegs, bud.
A little bit, but hold on. I'm going to redeem myself.
Okay,
So-
let's hear it.
So I'm just saying, if you look at him very briefly, you might get a little bit of that. Like it's, you look at the Ultimate Warrior, the dude looks like he's on a stage for bodybuilders.
Yes, he looks like
Jim Duggan doesn't give you that.
Pointed out, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Now, with that being said, I'm a huge Ultimate Warrior fan. Always was as a kid. I was also a big Jim Duggan fan.
A little pro tip no one knew. So the first time I met Mark, he had the little things around his biceps. That's how he walked around when he was like 22.
I wear them underneath my dress shirts at work.
Yeah.
Just
He had the
he
nylon
does-
tassels. The nylon
nobody knows,
tassels all tied
nobody
up
knows
around.
they're there but me.
Yeah, he never knew when he'd have to rip his shirt off and wrestle someone. Now,
I will say, in this scenario, between these two different wrestlers, I'm going with the brute strength of Jim Duggan. Oh, the win over the Ultimate Warrior. Jim
yeah,
Duggan is going to bring it home, and he's going to make it happen.
oh
And
my
Big Nic
gosh,
is shocked.
I love it. I love it. I tell you,
shocked Vegas.
is a little big kid.
We
I
Nick.
loved an upset. And this is, I wouldn't say it's a big, huge upset because these two have some similarities to them. They're kind of brute strength, brute force kind of dudes, and a lot of football type of moves out of both of them. And so I could see Jim Duggan, he would back up when he had you on the mat, remember? And he'd give the ho to the crowd and he would back up. And he would plant and he would put the two fingers on the mat like he was putting two fingers in the dirt on the football field. And he would wait for you to get up. And you're about halfway up and he would just come over charging with either a clothesline or a straight up shoulder to the face.
He'd give you
And
the
he'd
dick
drop
butt
you.
kiss.
And I tell you what, I do not want a shoulder to the face from that guy. Now, we should point out a couple of little accolades here and interesting things about the Ultimate Warrior before we move on, because Jim Duggan has taken this round defeating the Ultimate Warrior, but the Ultimate Warrior was, you said bodybuilder. He was a professional bodybuilder before becoming a professional wrestler.
Yes.
One thing that I always thought was quite interesting about him is that in 1993. Yes, he legally changed his name to Warrior, which is an interesting move.
Steve Warrior.
Indeed.
Yeah, his real name is James Brian Hellwig, but then he legally changed his name to Warrior.
Actually,
because
Hellwig's kind of cool anyway. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so but Warrior is easier to put on, for postage reasons, for
Mr.
for
Warrior.
letter writing. Yeah,
Mr. Warrior.
Well, so Big Nick, though, even though we know he already won, who's your pick?
Well, look, Jim Duggan was a fantastic wrestler and a very big crowd pleaser, but didn't do much for me. I was also not a huge Warrior fan because I didn't have a strong appreciation for his wrestling style, but he was kind of like the Clubber Lang, right? Or the Mike Tyson, where this dude will beat you in 45 seconds. You got to watch out when you get in the ring. Like Ultimate Warrior will beat you. Now, if you get past about 5 or 6 minutes into the match, then you start to have a chance because the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, he starts to wear down. So I love the upset. I would have picked the Warrior here, but that's not to say that I'm right and you gentlemen are wrong. I think it's a fantastic pick.
Right.
I did want to see, selfish reasons, I got to say, I did want to see the Warrior square off against the Giant in the semifinals, but we will not get that. We will get the Giant against Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and that's where we're going to start the semifinals. We have
rematch.
the Hacksaw Jim Duggan in the 6th seed facing Andre the Giant in the 2 seed. And boys, I'm going to start it off. I'll go first on this.
Do it.
I got to give this one to the Giant, arguably one of the greatest wrestlers of our lifetimes. And he is the number 2 seed for a reason. I give it to the Giant. I think the Giant takes it. I think Duggan gives him a good solid match for about 6-7 minutes, right? Because he's got a lot of force, a lot of power, a lot of speed. But in the end, I think the Giant will prevail. Mark Sweetwater. Mark, wrestling expert, what say you?
So I actually went back and rewatched the Andre the Giant versus Jim Duggan
You did research
matchup
Whoa.
in 1988 because I was curious. You see the Giant, you're like, who has fought this guy and who's actually, had a good chance against him? Jim Duggan, man, that dude actually can hold his own weight when it comes to the Giant, surprisingly. And I think a lot of it comes down to the 2x4 he's carrying helps. Right? I mean, that can knock out a lot of people.
That's right.
That will knock out everyone.
Yeah. These two actually went back and forth a couple different times. As unbeatable as the Giant seems at times, and he really does seem unbeatable at times, in watching the research and with my own eyes, like I said, Zach Galifianakis, don't doubt him because he's a madman. I'm taking Jim Duggan over Andre the Giant. Stunner. Jim Duggan. Walk with me with your 2x4, sir.
When you keep saying Jim Duggan, the Zach Galifianakis comparison, the
You looked it up, didn't you?
I keep picturing Zach Galifianakis with the sunglasses on with the little baby strapped to the front of him from Hangover.
Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos.
Yes.
His name
Yes.
shall be Carlos. Look, hey, I love that. And if it were to play out that way, here's the way that I see that playing out there, Sweetwater. Remember, the weight of the Giant was too much for the ring a lot of times,
Yeah.
right? The ropes of the ring often could not handle the size, the height, and the weight of the Giant. And I could picture the Giant gets pushed into one of those ropes. Duggan drops back, plants the fingers in the mat, does the football move, hitting the Giant when he's up against the ropes, thus forcing him out of the ring. He hits the ground outside of the mat super hard and gets counted out of the ring, and Duggan gets a win in a big spot. All right, rubber match here, B. You got to vote for the Giant. Vote for Hacksaw. You are the deciding factor, my friend. What
And
hey, your family is listening. Keep in mind your family,
I doubt it.
co-workers.
No pressure.
So, God, love both of these wrestlers. And I remember when they fought together, if you guys remember this.
Yeah.
Hacksaw knocked him out with the 2x4.
Mm-hmm. And he almost got him a second time with the move that Big Nic talked about with his hand. And then Andre put the boot up at the last second, and that knocked out Jim Duggan. So
I do want to point out from the president of WWF from the 80s, Jack Tunney. Tunney would like to point out that hitting somebody with a 2x4 is illegal in the Federation.
Fair enough. But you know what? We're battling to the death here, baby. This is it. And you know what? I think the 2x4 is too much. It's Hacksaw Jim Duggan for the win. Oh, baby. Hacksaw Jim Duggan with the upset over Andre the Giant. And Andre the Giant is the man, but he takes one to the dome.
He's stunned.
And I don't care how big you are, get hit by a 2x4 and then pop up. See what happens.
Cinderella story continues.
There's no such thing as a concussion with that level. That's called brain damage.
Oof.
Whoa.
Yes. That just happened. That just happened.
Duggan on the right side of the bracket advances to the final four. the 80s great champion heavyweight belt. There will only be one champion, ladies and gentlemen. We go back to the left side of our bracket for the final match of the left side of our bracket. And for some reason, I just picked up notes from True Crime Garage that will not help me here. All right.
Big Nic is
real
no, so he's the upset alone has just got Big Nic flustered.
I don't know what to do. I almost started talking about a cold case.
Episode almost changed gears completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost went to a weird and dark place. All right. Left side of the bracket. Here we go. We have the American hero, Hulkamaniacs out there everywhere. Hulk Hogan with the number 1 seed squaring off against the number 4 seed.
Hulk Hogan, yeah. You say you don't know where the Macho Man is coming from? Yeah, you're right. You don't know anything about the Macho Man, Randy Savage, and where I'm coming from. Because it's mind-boggling to you, yeah. One man could make it to the top of the World Wrestling Federation mountain, yeah. All by myself. No pukesters helping me to the left. And no pukesters helping me to the right. Didn't need 'em then, don't need 'em now. And another person I don't need is Elizabeth either, yeah. 'Cause I'm the champion by myself, all by myself. You don't know where I'm coming from, Hulk Hogan. This Sunday afternoon. But I know where you're coming from, yeah. I know everything about Hulk Hogan, yeah. I know what makes you tick, yeah. And you've got the audacity, yeah, to say that in WrestleMania 5, that Hulkamania is gonna survive. You don't know me, Hulk Hogan. You don't know where I'm coming from. After I'll beat you with that big elbow and pin you 1, 2, 3, guaranteed victory. I'm going to tell you and all the pukesters out there one last time before this Sunday afternoon. Hulkamania is dead.
Remember the Macho Madness? You either were a Hulkamaniac or you had the madness. And a lot of people had the madness. And Big Nic had the madness. Macho Man Randy Savage in the 4 seed, squaring off against the 1 seed Hulk Hogan, Mr. B. What say you? This is the mega powers colliding.
Oh,
Remember, we thought the world was going to explode when this happened. The whole world would just blow up.
Yes. And so as a young lad, I'd be like, oh, come on, Hulkamania, you got this. But you know what? I think who's going to pull out the win? Is it Hulkamania? Is it Macho Man? The answer is Macho Man. He's going to pull out the win.
Oh, Macho
jacked up
Man.
on so many Slim Jims, and
the preservatives are strong.
Yes, it's called Upset 101, baby. That's what you need. That's how you throw the crowd off. Macho Man is ready to go. Plus, he's pretty good at baseball.
Not too shabby.
That's true.
That's Macho Man for the win. Huge upset. The crowd goes, they go deathly silent. Because they're like, whoa, is Hulk Hogan dead? Because Macho Man just won.
Is Hulkamania dead?
Yes. Macho Man for the win. Lock it in. Let's see what you guys got.
Mr. B says the madness reigns supreme. He goes with Macho Man is.
Oh, yeah.
Is Hulkamania dead? Sweetwater Mark has a say in this matter. What say you, my friend?
So I see both guys walking to the ring.
Oh, they're not walking. They're running, baby.
Well, they're calm in the beginning. The Slim Jims haven't completely gone fried Macho Man's system yet, but
Why don't you go ahead and eat 7 Slim Jims and tell me what happens.
they
I
come
know it
into the
doesn't-
ring.
Yeah.
The crowd's going wild.
If you have erectile dysfunction, eat 8 Slim Jims and it will be corrected.
Yep.
All I know is that once it starts, you can't stop the Hulkamania. The Hulkamania is going to come through and rub wild on you, brother. It's coming through, Hulkamania. I got the Hulk. Macho Man is going down. All this his arteries start hardening with all the fake meat that's in the Slim Jims.
You said hardening.
What?
That ain't meat.
But no, I'm going Hulkamania. Hulkamania all the way. Hulk for the win. Big Nic, it's going to be you to decide, sir.
Tiebreaker for Big Nic. I've never seen him more stressed in his life.
He's already sweating.
Oh my God. I think he's crying.
So he changed his pants twice.
Yep. Nick, put your pants back on. Come on, man. We're recording.
Third pairs are not necessary. Come on.
I don't know if I can convey to the listeners what I'm feeling inside.
Deep
At
in my
this moment.
plums.
I feel it deep in my plums.
Yeah.
Deep in my plums.
If any of you out there, God bless you, are old enough to remember the commercial where the man has a skillet in one hand and 2 eggs in the other, and he lifts up the eggs and he says, "This is your brains." And then he slams the eggs into the skillet and says, "This is your brains on drugs." And right now, those eggs frying in that skillet are my brains on WWF 80s greats in
You know
this
what?
moment right now.
I love fried eggs.
He loves them. He loves your brains on drugs is what Mr. B is saying. That's horrible to say to the people out there.
Don't do drugs, people.
Terrible.
Please don't do drugs. America, listen to me. Don't do drugs. Oh, man. I'm hurting right now, fellas. I'm hurting. I should have went to myself first, so I would be the decider.
Is that Macho Man doll a good idea or a bad idea, Mr. B? That might give him some PTSD.
I'm just taunting him. I'm taunting him with Macho Man.
Look, my heart says Macho Man. My heart says Macho Man, but my brain says Hulk Hogan.
Hulkamania, brother.
I'm putting Hulk over the top for the win going into
Over
the
the
final.
ropes. Over the ropes.
Oh,
Classic.
That's
It's
a classic battle.
showdown.
All right. In the final matchup to decide the greatest
Here we go.
wrestler of 1980s WWF style, I got to go to myself first because I'm in a world of pain right now, friends.
I can tell.
Off his chest.
I got to, if Hogan beats Macho Man, he beats everyone. That's where my heart is. If you're going to defeat who I think is the greatest wrestler of all time, I couldn't do it. I thought I would be the lone person fighting for the Macho Man against Hogan, but I had to do what was right. And the right thing was to put Hogan over the top. I say Hogan. That's my vote. Sweetwater Mark, what say you?
I think me and Mr. B should say our answers at the same time.
I like it. I like it. That's saucy.
How do you feel about that, Big Nic?
I'm
That's
with
a
it.
little bit of a wrinkle.
Let's get a better announcement here. We got Hulkamania versus
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who was the number 6
the most American battle you could ever see. America
Oh, it
versus
doesn't get
America.
It is America versus
The
America.
last time that
Hang on.
the
We got a
last-
civil war going on here. We can do 1, 2, 3 if you want, buddy.
1, 2, 3 it up, buddy.
Are you
Let's
ready?
do it.
No. We don't do 1, 2, 3. We do 3, 2, 1 on the Big
Oh,
Kid Show.
excuse
me.
Let,
Okay.
let your boy Big Nic count it
All
down.
right.
3,
Okay.
2, 1. I'm going to count it down. 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to right after I say 1, you boys shout it from the
Let
mountaintops.
her rip.
Okay.
It's Miller time. It's Miller time. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Hulkamania.
Hulk
Yeah,
Hogan.
baby. Hulkamania for the win. Dude, it's
Hulkamania,
Oh, yes. Hulkamania wins it all.
Doing runs
Obviously.
wild on you.
And here's how I pictured Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He takes a swing with that 2x4. It breaks over Hulk Hogan's face.
Right. And he gives him the crazy eyes and the shake in his head. And
he's got the googly eyes. And he's like, I just broke your board. Now what do you got?
Now what do you got, Jim Duggan?
You got a 1x4 because it's all busted in half.
That's a 1x4. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan for the win.
That was a one-seed
greatest
sweep right there.
That's right. The greatest champion. We're naming him the champion of the 80s WWF style. It doesn't get any more American than Hulkamania, Hulk Hogan. You know, people said that nothing gets more America than George Washington, than Uncle Sam. But then guess what? Ronald Reagan and Elvis Presley had sex and the baby was Hulk Hogan.
Fact. That's a fact.
That's where he came from.
Hey, actually, don't Google that, but it's just a fact.
Yeah. Do not type that in. Not safe for work, too. Do not Google that at work.
Yeah.
You will be fired
quickly.
You will be fired quickly. Yeah.
Mark already lost 3 jobs from that.
That's right. It's tough road. Tough road.
All right. Hey, boys. It's been fun. It's been a wild and crazy time. I hope we get to do a 90s one someday. Let's do a 90s one someday.
Absolutely.
All right. Big kids out there in listener land, thank you for joining us. Thank you for having fun with us again here today. We are wishing you the best of days. We are wishing you the best of weeks ahead. And join us back here next week on the Big Kids Show. And all this silliness here today, you know, especially the Ronald Reagan, Elvis Presley stuff, it's all just more evidence that we are just big kids.